and welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host, Matt, and I'm here with G and Vivek for this episode of the show. We are now a month into NBA free agency 2026, and there are so many major, huge moves to cover. We discuss and react to the Sixers' big offseason, Giannis to the Heat, LaMelo to Minnesota, and so much more. Today is July 28th, 2026, and this is episode 217 of the show.
We're back. Hey, that's my little song I made for us. I've been cooking that up for a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Better than what LeBron was cooking up.
Yeah, man. Sometimes, all things that you take a bunch of time to do aren't actually worth the time.
Nope. And
it's good honestly, to hear from you guys.
Yeah. You know why we haven't... I got some beef with LeBron right here, and I'm just going to say it out right now.
Look, man.
We've been holding off on this episode until we got all our ducks in a row because all these moves were coming out really crazy in June 30th or July 1st or whatever. And, we've been waiting for the one last move, which was LeBron. We were like, okay, what if LeBron decides literally the day after we release this podcast? Then, our whole thing's outdated and we got to do it all over again. So it's like, okay, we got to wait for LeBron. We got to wait to record until we get the LeBron one. Takes 3 weeks. World Cup is over at this point. A week over at this point. And we're still waiting on it. And he finally does it on a Friday in a random day in July. And now we're here. It's the 28th. Already a whole month in, and now we're finally getting to all these news.
I feel like LaMelo to Minnesota is old news now.
Everything's old news, basically. Jaylen Brown, that was a shocking move. I wanted to do the pod right there. Nope.
But I think there's enough time that passed to the point where everyone calmed down about the Jaylen Brown to Sixers trade, and people got their heads a little bit more straight. So I think people were able to dissect these moves a little bit better now as well. But I agree.
I want to overreact.
Oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, this is sports discourse. We're supposed to pontificate and overreact. I forgot the memo. Shout out to Stephen Smith.
I'm gonna do my best Ryan Clark impression and start crying when I did absolutely everything wrong and haven't made a right decision in a while. But I'm gonna play victim and cry this podcast. Sorry.
Damn, sounds personal.
Dang, so
no, I feel like that's what gets the views.
Rather 3 or 4 of your homies and you just basically start crying in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a lot of views. So that's our next step for Sports Counsel.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, either way, we are Sports Counsel. This is our podcast. And G, where can the people find Sports Counsel?
Yes, if you're new to Sports Counsel, you're old to Sports Counsel, if you're interested in Sports Counsel at all, I think it's mandatory for you to go on your phone, your laptop, your computer, your library computer. It doesn't matter. We're everywhere. You're going to go to your favorite social media, Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. It doesn't matter. We're everywhere. And you're going to search up sports_counsel, 2 words, 1_ sports_counsel. Go ahead and follow us. It's free. And then when you're there, hit the link in the bio. Go join the Discord. When these crazy things happen, if you want live reactions and you want see Matt lose his mind over Warriors and the Niners and LeBron, that's the first place you'll do it. So go and join the Discord. It's also free, everything. Go follow, join the Discord, sports_counsel. I don't know what else you could be doing if you're not doing that.
I do melt down a lot in that Discord.
We might need to get you help, but it is quality content.
Yeah.
To be fair, least sus Discord activity I could think of, though. You could do a lot worse on a Discord server.
Yeah, let's just leave it there. Sports_counsel on all social media platforms. All right. Well, no better time than the present. Let's finally react to everything here. Obviously, let's start with the latest move first. LeBron James agrees to terms with the Philadelphia 76ers. 2 years, I believe $8 million, so about $4 million each year. So very small money. There was rumors that he was interested in the Cavs, the Heat, Warriors, a little Timberwolves action I heard at the beginning, but it kind of narrowed down to those 4 teams. And ultimately, personally, I thought he went with the most unlikely decision right there. I honestly thought my money was on Cleveland for a third time.
I think so too. I think I had my money on Cleveland.
Oh, really? I actually had him going to the Sixers. I mean, that's easy to say in hindsight, but I just thought they were the strongest team on paper post Jaylen Brown to the Sixers to make a run.
And if we know anything about LeBron, he wants fucking cupcakes and cake wherever he can get it, in the sense of he wants the easy way out, in the sense, he's a 42-year-old man ring chasing, but it's okay. Supposed to be the GOAT of this generation, but he's ring chasing with that all white beard. It's okay. No worries. Totally makes sense. But yeah. I guess it's just that, hand in hand, we'll talk about more in detail the Jaylen Brown aspect of things. But I guess the big thing was for them that this trade or this signing only became a thought when Jaylen Brown became a Sixer, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I can go join that and be the missing piece, which in a sense is true. And I totally kind of see where he's coming from, because I think this team is insane on paper now. And they just got KCP too. So this kid team is only getting better. I'm sure more guys get bought out and stuff. They'll want to come ring chase with the Sixers. I think that'll be like the new hot team to go do that with. It's a really good team. And I think in LeBron's aspect, it's just about basketball. It's not about where my family is, where I am, commercials, TV deals, none of that, right? I mean, Philly in itself is still a big market, but it's just like Viv said, it was a clear and obvious best basketball place to go. If you're looking for a roster and if you're looking for chance to win, you're in the East now too. I mean, people are saying the East is better than the West now. I still don't agree with that, but the East is considerably still better than it was before, but much easier path for this LeBron and the Sixers to get there. I mean, unfortunately, I think it's a really good move for him, and obviously for the Sixers. I mean, you're signing a top 20 player, 25 player for $4 million a year. It's always going to be a good deal, right?
Do you think the East is better than the West right now?
I think it's
not really.
I think it's considerably closer, but I've seen other people say that, especially on like Twitter and like the NBA media of the world trying to push the narrative that the East is getting a lot better, which it is, but I don't think that it's still better as good as the West. It's getting there though.
It's an interesting narrative for sure, because honestly I haven't heard it as much, but now if you make me think about it a little bit, like, I mean, LeBron in the Cav years and the Heat years and the Cav years again, like, he was beating up on some pretty weak
shit
conference
teams,
right? So now that the West is getting really strong again and the East feels a little bit weaker than it used to be, like the Celtics, they're no longer a dynamic duo. One of those guys is literally now on his team. And then Toronto, we'll talk about it later, but they're held up in that whole Kawhi thing. You got the Pacers.
I mean, the Knicks are still Knicks.
Healthy. Yeah, the Knicks are the Knicks. So that's probably your biggest contender right there. So then, who else? Am I missing someone?
We'll get into the Heat in a little bit as well. They're a solid team. Pistons, you're hoping that some of those young guys take a step forward. Cade's really good, right? Similar to the Pacers, right? Is it a flash in the pan, or is this going to be a consistent contending basketball team? And you got your regular season Cavs. I wouldn't even put them in contendership at this point. But yeah. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about LeBron? I mean, we're going to talk about the Warrior aspect of not being able to get him or anybody, but take that out of it, right? Do you guys think like this makes them the best team in the East? And, by that nature, does that make it a good move if it is the case?
I don't think they're the best team in the East. I think the best team in the East is the current defending champions. And I think you just got to prove it until we see otherwise, because I mean the level, like we're just a month and a half maybe removed from that championship, so let's not
And the Knicks did sweep the 76ers.
They swept the 76ers. They looked dominant throughout they lost 2 games the entire Eastern Conference playoffs. So
no, they lost they lost 2 games, both the Hawks, right?
Exactly. So let's wait until they kind of get knocked off a little bit there, but I'd say that they're arguably probably the second best team right now in the East.
I'd say that pretty confidently too.
I hate LeBron, man. I hate when he does this stuff, because I want to, at the end of that Lakers tenure, I was kind of rooting for him a little bit, because, he's just doing what he does out there and he just plays good. But when he does these decisions where it's just like, he tries to stack the deck, I feel like, for his team to win a championship, if you really felt like you were the greatest of all time, and I'm not saying, specifically in this case, but, for all the other cases, but it just kind of reminds me of when he used to do that back in 2019 and, 2014,
The decision.
15, yeah. And then the decision, obviously, it's like, do you really feel like you're the greatest of all time? Are you really secure in that position when you feel like you have to get the most talent possible in order to win this championship?
It's kind of like Thanos, where you're assembling all these like pieces together to make yourself even stronger. It's like, yes, you're in yourself stronger, but remove these, extra pieces and all the stacking and doing all this stuff that you're doing, the politics, the agent, I don't know, man. Like I said, go back to like, you're supposed to be the GOAT. I'm still an MJ is the GOAT type of guy. And obviously people say LeBron's the GOAT. They make very convincing arguments, but this is like one of those things where I'm just like, this is not a good thing. Like, this is a slight. And regardless if he wins, like, how much of this is going to change his legacy? What is he, the third, maybe the second at best player on this team? Like, everybody playing good. He's the fourth best player on the team. So it's like, I don't know. Like, you could have gone to Cleveland.
I always hear the fucking excuses afterwards too. It's just like, when it doesn't work out, all I hear is this excuses like, oh, LeBron couldn't do it. Like, LeBron can't carry all these bombs. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. Like, at a certain point, man, it just gets very exhausting. And when the Sixers eventually lose or like they struggle or do something, I'm just preparing to hear all those excuses again. And it's just very exhausting to hear. Like, when LeBron is contending, the narratives get wild and crazy, and it's just very annoying. And, speaking as a fan of the team that had to face LeBron and then had to face all those, narrative defining moments, it's very, very annoying to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with what you guys are saying. I just find the narrative around LeBron to be pretty excruciating and exhausting. I mean, I think I blame a lot of it also on ESPN and the sports media for just blabbering about LeBron's every move. I mean, we have Brian Windhorst who basically made his career as a LeBron acolyte, so to speak. But I think just seeing the whole narrative hold up regarding the world supposedly holding their breath for where LeBron signed, and Rich Paul, especially Rich Paul, I think there's just something about me that's really bothered by the Clutch Sports Mafia and how they go about their business. And let me go some more friendly fire. I just really hate the open politicking by Draymond, especially to try and get LeBron.
Man, we gotta talk about Draymond later, but talk about useless, man. What, like, I don't know.
Useless,
what the point
and then
of
now
that was.
doing absolutely nothing, opting out of his deal. Literally, like a grown man sucking off another grown man to try to get him on his team, and then doesn't even get him, and then signs a $30 million contract for himself. Like, that's gonna fucking help us, bro.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
The way that Draymond treats LeBron gives me legit secondhand embarrassment. I don't really like talking about the more gossipy aspects of basketball, but I think it really ties into how free agency worked. But just seeing the way he was courting LeBron and glazing him just really made me sick to my stomach. I mean, listen, I know that these guys are friends behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, where's the competitive fire? You're supposed to hate this guy's guts. Like, his antics with LeBron literally cost them the ring in 2016. I don't know about me, but maybe the competitor me would be like, I'll always kind of hold that against you. But here we have Draymond Green basically wanting to be like LeBron's basically like bestie, right?
Like his hype man, basically. Can't. Like, just like, oh yeah, LeBron, let's go LeBron, yeah, LeBron. Like, dude,
yeah,
come
it's
on,
a little
dude.
weird.
It's not even, and it's so against what everything else Draymond's whole personality is, as well. And it goes hand in hand with like what you're saying with Rich Paul and the little group of agency or players he has signed his agency. Like, okay, so if the Warriors go and get another guy from your list of players, Anthony Davis, right? Then LeBron's so down to play with us. But as soon as Anthony Davis trade can't happen because it just doesn't make sense for the Wizards to trade him to us, right? Well, now all of a sudden LeBron can't be a Warrior because there's not enough, guys, his guys and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like these semantics are just stupid, If you're the guy you say you are, you Go back to Cleveland, win him another ring, bro. Show everybody, like, dude, even at 42, I can take this team that can't get past the second round to championship and win. Like, that's so much more impressive than I'm going to be the fourth best player on 76ers and maybe play 40 games, 50 games a season and carry close to a championship. Or at least
you can't convince me that LeBron isn't a major power broker behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And
No,
has
that's
the
what I'm
whole
saying.
league by his hands. He likes to frame himself as striving for greatness and just another kid from Akron, but we all know that he basically is the kingmaker of this league. Even Adam Silver has to be subservient and basically make his decisions at the drop of LeBron's like volition and hat. And that's what bothers me a lot. I just think that like I don't really like the idea of one person being above the whole league and above a whole team and basically asking to be treated as an underdog, so to speak. I mean, this is LeBron James. You can't convince me that Clutch Sports doesn't have their fingers in pretty much every team's pie and that LeBron isn't a major aspect and kingmaker as far as how Clutch Sports is ran as an organization.
That's exactly like we underestimate, I think, constantly LeBron's power and influence in terms of player transactions because
I mean, look at the
you
KCP
know
thing. Look at
no
the
other
KCP
player
thing gets cut the day after LeBron signs with the Sixers and now is a 76er. Like,
no other player has a best friend who runs an agency like this. Like, can you name me another example where it's just like it seems like LeBron basically has his own agency and he's kind of directing players like when I basically was done with this is when Anthony Davis requested that trade out of New Orleans and he said he would only go to the Lakers, right? That just felt like, and guess what? Looky Lou. Rich Paul
It's sickening. It's
like,
honestly sickening. It kind of reminds me, this is kind of a stretch, but like corporate money in politics or people taking money from lobbyists, right? Like there's just so much collusion happening behind the scenes and so much politicking that the on-court product you see isn't really like the basketball you see is the basketball, right? But what really forms these teams is like the GM being the GM behind the scenes, like with LeBron and the Cavaliers.
He did do his damnest on this time around though. Like this might be his most impressive work. You know, if we're buying into this narrative as like he is the GM, which I 100% agree. Like, dude, this team is fucking insane, bro. Like this
is a
team
great
is so
team,
good.
to be fair.
This is such a good team. Like they got no holes in the starting five. Maxey, VJ, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Joel Embiid. Obviously, Embiid is a question mark, but then off the bench you have guys like Dean Wade and now KCP and Anthony Simons. Like, dude, this team is insane, bro. Like
it's pretty freaking good. The only thing that will probably stop them is like team chemistry and injuries, but all of those guys. Like, I was thinking about this lineup today too, and one thing that really stuck out to me is how much experience these guys have at playing with other stars and, like, deferring to them as well. Like, Maxey, VJ, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, obviously, even Embiid. Like, they all know how to play with others and play complementary basketball. So I think that they have, like, the IQ and the willingness to take a back seat and play, like, complementary basketball.
And then you take into account they basically gave up 2 first-round picks to get him. Like you gave him what we thought was last year the worst contract in the NBA, and two good playoff games from Paul George, and now all of a sudden teams want him again. And
I can't believe they got rid of Paul George. I cannot believe they actually.
I literally thought that was an immovable contract where you're gonna have to put some picks alongside him just to move off the contract. But they not let alone moved off the contract and just attached some picks. They got younger, better, healthier, more proven, long-term, everything, every situation. This is a no-brainer for the Sixers. So, man, this is why the Warriors needed to keep fucking Bob Myers, Mr. Secret GM, over there, finally cooking again.
Yeah. Rich Paul, I'm not going to say that Rich Paul orchestrated Jaylen Brown trade, and that's probably what ultimately made LeBron go. This is honestly all the Celtics' fault for doing this.
Yeah, 100%. So
and that's what I thought. Like when I read the trade the first time, I was so annoyed because I was like, there's no way that's real, right? Because there's no way that's like, because Jaylen Brown, he finished 5th in MVP voting last year. He was very, very good. He led a Celtics team that most thought was in a rebuilding year. and they got the second seed in the playoffs, I think. So, it.
And then
They
Finals
got him
MVP.
Finals MVP, and they traded him for nothing. Like, obviously, yes, he was involved in Giannis Antetokounmpo trade talks, and that's good, right? Like, if you're Boston, you should try to get, Giannis, and you could give up a Jaylen Brown type player, and no one will blame you for that, right? This
I
felt
think
like
the whole
you just
thing
wanted
was
to move
just
off
the
him.
second apron, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole argument, they had a whole press conference after, and Brad Stevens was like, with Tatum and Brown, you're going to occupy 70% of the cap, which, okay, that makes sense. You can't win a championship with two guys occupying 70% of your cap. Like, it doesn't really make sense. But the return that they got was horrible, and there was a lot of leaks, that, if you notice, that try to justify this by saying, oh, other teams don't really value Jaylen Brown that highly, or other
so
teams consider
stupid.
him to be overrated via analytics. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I love analytics as much as anyone, but I really hate the idea of evaluating a player by the spreadsheet. I think that's just stupid as hell.
You've seen what he does out there. He wins games. He scores. He does like everything you need to do to be a star in this NBA and
you can't
win games.
You can't tell me that there's no trade value for him. There's no way. Even if every single team did say no, they don't want Jaylen Brown. Like, dude, Desmond Bane went for 4 to 5 first-round picks. Miles Bridges or Mikal Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert went for 5 first-round picks. Jaren Jackson got traded for a few first-round picks. Like, dude, this guy Jaylen Brown is, I think, I would say significantly better than mostly everybody I just named. I don't get it. I don't know what the Celtics are cooking. I feel like between the way they were playing basketball in the playoffs and just hucking threes, and then somehow scapegoating Jaylen Brown, like, it'd be hard to be a Celtics fan, especially right now.
It's not like Derek White was much better, honestly. Like, I think he was like
Horrible.
probably the worst player
Atrocious.
in that series. Yeah.
Everyone's mad glazing Derek White too. Like, he's like the analytics goat, and
He
I
is,
think
because he
maybe
plays
I'm
some
just mad
defense. Like,
about-
holy shit, he can play defense and catch and shoot threes. Like, he doesn't make him like this all NBA player like Jaylen Brown is, And I've seen the same
Right.
things you're talking about, Viv.
Yeah, maybe I'm just mad about the fact that Kenny Atkinson said analytically we won. Like, I just really don't get this obsession, this like infatuation with looking at like the metrics or Raptor or like WAR or something, and saying that that's the way we evaluate players. Like, Jaylen Brown is frontline talent, no matter how many ways you slice it, or want to like be like actually with their glasses pointed up or something. But like, this trade reeks of desperation. They really couldn't get anyone better, so that's why they just dumped them for an aging Paul George. That's all I can really chalk this up to. They got desperate. They held on too long. The entire like Giannis angle was dead, and so at that point, like, the relationship soured so much to the point where they had to dump him for pennies on the dollar, and they literally didn't even get a penny. Honestly, they got like table scraps. It's just a horrible, horrible trade. I get why you would dump Jaylen Brown, but for this return, it's nothing more than
Terrible.
just a huge
Get
huge
Giannis.
loss.
Get Giannis. All they had to do was include Hugo Gonzalez in the fucking trade, and Jaylen Brown would be a Milwaukee Buck. Giannis would be in the Celtics, which, I wouldn't like personally. But then that means LeBron would probably go to somewhere else, right? So it's ridiculous. It's the domino effect here. And the Celtics, I felt like, are just being cheap. I felt like they thought that the Jaylen Brown relationship soured after they offered him up in Giannis talks, and he's going off on his podcast or whatever, and I don't know what it is, Twitch stream, something like that.
It's Twitch chat.
Oh God. And he's spouting off all this stuff, and they probably soured on him, and they saw the second apron coming. At the same time, you traded him maybe the first week into free agency. You really could have waited, honestly, for a better return than that. No one's stopping
There
you.
had to be a better return out there. I mean, we could talk about, kind of the next team that did nothing, that maybe could have gave you a better package than that. But God, dude, I feel like there has to be a better trade out there than what garbage they received. I've refused to believe Jaylen Brown is not a top 10, 15 player. Coming off a top 5 to 6 season easily. Like, there's no way you
This
can.
guy was
get
All
anything better.
NBA first team, no? Or second team? Like, this, he is clearly an All NBA player, and you're trying to let me believe that he's the 6th best player on the Celtics? Like, Get out of here. You cannot be serious, man.
And for Paul George. Fucking Paul George. 30-something-year-old Paul George. 36, I want to say.
On a horrible contract himself. So now you're not using 70% of your cap on two players that are really, really good. Now you're using like 60% of your cap on one really good player and one piece of shit player. Like, I just...
You really don't like Paul George.
He's not good. Hasn't been good. Like, it's just, I like Paul George when he's on the Thunder, when he's on the Clippers, he was cool. Obviously on his Pacers, he had his great heyday. But like, dude, he's just not good anymore. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think we should just move on. I don't know. We could go on all day about this.
Yeah.
It just kind of gets me sick thinking about this.
Let's talk about the team that didn't offer anything, apparently, for Jaylen Brown. Because the first reaction I had was, that was all that was left for Jaylen Brown. And the second reaction is, why the fuck didn't the Warriors do this?
All right? Now I'm going to be even more sick. Okay. I'm going to sign out right now.
Because this honestly, like... My best logic in this case is that they wanted to save the salary cap for LeBron. That's my only logical explanation of why the Warriors didn't do this. But even then, man, are you really saving, like, because Jaylen Brown, like we talked about it, he's young, he's a star, he's going to win games for you. You're really saving that for a 42-year-old LeBron who's probably going to be here for like maybe 2 years? That's just bad process, man. Jaylen Brown's a star as well. If we're going to go chasing stars, like we struck out on Giannis Antetokounmpo, we're going to strike out on LeBron no matter what, because guess what? We probably came in at a distant fourth, because if LeBron's trying to win games, it's not going to be with the Warriors. If anything, it was just going to be like basically a retirement tour with tickets jacked up to $1,000 per game. This team is not probably competing with LeBron. It could have been if it was Curry, LeBron, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps. I guess Draymond would have to stick around in this scenario. But this right now, what we're seeing, the Warriors have not made a single signing or trade for an external player outside of their franchise. Period. They haven't done a single move. Not a single move. Everything's been a re-signing. They drafted obviously Yaxel, which I think is nice. But what are we doing with this roster?
Nothing. We're doing nothing. We're doing absolutely nothing. We're just going to run it back, and we're going to suck, and we're going to complain. And Steph's going to collect I think he's going to sign for 2 years, 130 or 140 million. Mm-hmm. It's like late stage Kobe. It's like he just collected a huge bag to just play 500 basketball and just ride off in the sunset and be a one team career, basically. That's what we're gonna do, I guess. So,
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, you gotta just appreciate what he gave us, and you understand that this team is too incompetent to put a roster in front of him that's like gonna be competitive in any nature. So, it's all right, and at least I think it's kind of lost in the sauce. But if you said Steph plays his last 2-3 years here, I think that in itself is huge as well. So that'd be cool. I mean, it'd be nice to put a competitive roster around him. We tried. Jimmy got hurt. I guess that's all we can do now is pray his ACL heals, because obviously you can't have a backup plan. Because why would you do that when you can just put all your eggs in one basket?
Can we all agree on one thing, guys? The Warriors will never win a championship at this rate. Like, I'm like almost 100% sure. Like, I'm like 99.99999% sure the Warriors at this stage are just not going to win a championship. They aren't even going to make a conference finals. They just don't have what it takes. They just don't.
No, I agree.
They just don't. Don't tell me Pajemski or Gui Santos or Yax is going to be those guys. Moody isn't even that guy.
Gui's nice, bro. I won't slander some of the players. Like, I like Gui. I liked what I saw from Yaxel in Summer League. But obviously,
Yaxel was fantastic in Summer League, let alone it's just not his fault. He's a contributing piece for sure. Same with Gui, and there's just certain guys, Podziemski, that don't need to be on the roster, and it's just like, let's make some moves to try to upgrade certain players or certain position, Podziemski, and try to see what else there is out there for us, right? And it's just like, no. And I have a feeling we'll probably end up with like DeMar DeRozan, maybe. I think maybe we can get him, but that's just so disgusting. We've been after DeMar DeRozan like 3 straight trade deadlines, and now he's waived, and we still might not get him. Like, I don't know.
How can you say that with a straight face, man? Like, I know you're sick to your stomach when you're saying we can get DeMar DeRozan. Like, let's be so real.
That doesn't
let's be
even
so
feel
real right
honestly.
now. Like, the Warriors are cooked, man. Like, they don't got the sauce anymore. It's over. It's just over. They need to.
I'm afraid that I
Joe
still
Lacob.
That I agree.
Like Joe Lacob has he got what he wanted. Like, he's gonna get his next era of the Warriors being built because like he squandered the last 4 to 5 years after they won the chip. Like, his hubris wanted him to build the 2 timelines, and honestly, it actually could have worked. It actually could have fucking worked. But they ended up drafting James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga and missed it on. If they just hit on 1 or 2 of those players, they would have been fine and dandy. But like, we all know how that ended up, right? I'm just sick to my stomach thinking about the Warriors. I can't do this. It's just horrible. It's
could have been Halliburton and Wagner, but it wasn't. You actually have to make trades. I mean, you actually have to draft the right people, first of all. But no, my biggest issue with all of this is that it's fine to strike out, right? I want you to take a swing. I want you to swing and miss, right? Sure, pursue LeBron. Sure, try to make a trade offer for Giannis. The very fact that you don't do anything, and it's not even just anything, right? It's 2 straight years of nothing. Last year, we were embroiled in some fucking Jonathan Kuminga holdout. Oh, let's wait until October to sign 42-year-old Al Horford and Steph Curry and call it a day. But the Warriors straight up didn't make a move for a whole month that year either. Now it's 2 straight years of this. Last year, again, you can justify it. Okay, we got some moves. Jimmy Butler, he's going to integrate more in this offense. And we looked pretty good with Jimmy Butler and Steph, right? And
we
he had
looked
some
really
momentum,
good with him, to be
right?
fair.
Yeah. This year, there's not that case. Jimmy is out with an ACL tear. Probably not going to be back till maybe like February, March, if we're optimistic, right? He tore that thing in January. Moses Moody, terrible, terrible injury. I don't even know if he's going to return to being the same player, but it's a devastating injury, right? What are we really left with at this point? We've got an aging Draymond, who was honestly kind of in decline last year. He does not look like the same guy as he used to. Curry, who basically, he came back. He's obviously great. But then the rest is just, it's not enough. When you see a 36-win team out there and you get those results, do you say run it back? Like, if you were at your job and you only put up 36 productive days out of like 80, would your manager want you back? Or would you want you to change? That's the big thing. Like, I don't understand the, like,
there's no plan.
Reluctance to do anything.
No plan.
Like, the contentment of just being like, okay, let's just do the same thing over and over again and expect
and hoping it works. You know what this is starting to feel like? It's so funny that, I'm going to make this analogy. This is essentially the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, where we're not changing anything. We're going to keep running the same shit over and over again and getting the same exact result, except in this case, there is a bona fide, like, guy, Steph Curry, bro. We're just letting his years go to the waste. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's like, we always talk about, these GMs and the moves they make, and, sometimes you criticize a good or a bad move, but at the end of the day, they're trying to improve the roster in one facet of the game or not, right? Like, very few times are we all kind of just like horrible GM, like Nico Harrison, right? But this is horrible GMing. Like, this is not GMing or ownership or both. This is just front office mess. Like, this is bad, and this is sad because just 3-4 years ago, this was insane, management. They were making things happen. It wasn't always just about, we signed, Kevin Durant. There's always so many different moves always being made, always figuring out different ways, different players to, fill in different roles and figure out how to piece in the pieces around Steph, right? How to build the team around him. It's just like, that's not happening. Like, these guys, they just draft and, like, they're good, but they're they have to be slowly developed. The guys you sign, they're just kind of old or leftovers, essentially. It's hard, and I don't think they're in the business of winning.
I'm gonna say this. I really think that punch was the beginning of the end. If you really trace and look back at everything that's happened since then,
things started going downhill after that for sure.
It really exposed where the real power of the Warriors lied. It was essentially about obviously Steph is the guy. Like, this entire franchise is built on his back, but a lot of other people started basically building a reputation and a blind courage and I guess arrogance, I would say, based off that. And looking at Draymond, I'm even looking at Joe Lacob too, because Joe Lacob had the gall to think that, this 2-timeline thing can work, that everything needs to stay exactly to the system rather than evolving to the future. And I just don't think that the Warriors actually made a real attempt at running it back. They just thought that they can keep putting it on Steph's back. And even if you look at 2022, Steph willed that team to victory. It wasn't the full team victory that you were thinking. It was all Steph, and this franchise.
But even then, they got guys that were in their role and made sense. Like Andrew Wiggins made sense next to Steph, right? Mm-hmm. Like the way you had certain role players, you had Kevon Looney, who finally, we could say, developed into the guy being half decent and reliable. Just, Draymond was still good. Like, your reluctance to move off of Draymond, now you give him another $30 million. For what? His main job now is just yapping, and he can't even yap LeBron onto our roster. I don't know. It's you moved off Clay, you killed the vibes when you did that too, so it's why not let Draymond go and just try building a complete roster around Steph, right? It's just again, it's you're half in, half not, and it's just not going to work, right?
No, dude, just imagine Jordan Poole if he I'm not going to say he was an all-star caliber player or anything, but imagine if his confidence wasn't rocked and he was embarrassed by his big brother, his older teammate, his veteran. To do that is a complete betrayal, I think, of what being a teammate and a friend is, and to not even offer a proper apology, to sidestep around it, to kind of go back and forth on taking accountability in the media. This is a betrayal of all sorts, to not, sit him and suspend him for the ring presentation only. It's just a really, really bad look, and it shows that the Warriors they aren't as competently managed as we thought they were.
No, and I think that, going back to the front office, the insistence to try to get a superstar or nothing, we've been hearing for years, Giannis to the Warriors. They're trying to build up pieces for it. They're not going to trade away Kuminga because they could package him in the deal for Giannis. And then all of a sudden, they're not even really in the conversation for Giannis, right? Not even in the conversation for Jaylen Brown. They're trying to get LeBron, recruit him. He doesn't really consider them that much. And if they were, it was only for Steph. And apparently, reportedly, it was just to join a different team with Steph, right? Not all moves have to be championship caliber moves to begin with. Obviously, KD to the Warriors was the championship move, but that is so historical because it really never happens, honestly, where one player signing with a team guarantees basically a ring. And it seems like Joe Lacob keeps on trying to chase that high. But moves to just make moves sometimes will improve your team to a point where it might not be a championship move at first, but it will eventually lead to a championship down the line. Like with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, those are trades that made the Knicks better, but obviously, didn't make them championship contenders day one. No one thinks that D'Angelo Russell was going to be a championship caliber move, in the sign and trade with KD, but it gave the team some kind of resource to then trade for Andrew Wiggins, who then became probably the second most valuable player in that 22, run. The insistence of just doing nothing is the worst part. It's I want my superstar or I'm not going to do anything. That's a tantrum right there. Do something, right? Do something to improve this team, get some wins. It might not be gratifying at first, but it will get there. Doing nothing does nothing for your team.
I guess more than that, don't give me the BS that Podziemski and Moody or even like Will Richard, like those are all like good players and they're very good for where they were drafted. Like at least like I think Podziemski and Richard are, but don't act like they are the future of the franchise and are gonna be like getting the torch and are a worthy successor, right? Like I think the disappointment was for all the talk of the two timelines, you really didn't draft players that are even of the right mindset or caliber as Steph that can be leaders and usher in a new age of Warriors basketball. Like I don't know how they evaluated Wiseman and Kuminga, but those were like the complete opposite of the draft profile that the Warriors originally had gone for. But it was just Joe Lacob's fascination with, oh, Wiseman can speak Chinese, and Kuminga was this young upstart player who can like dunk electrically in the G League Ignite. So
there's no way you're telling me that he drafted fucking Wiseman because he could speak fucking Chinese, bro. What?
Is that
if you
really
look at
true?
it, that was one of the things that he was enamored by. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Like they really valued how he can do interviews. It's stupid.
I better
Joe
fucking learn
Lacob
Chinese.
is. I think he just had an insane run of luck immediately after buying the team. And like Joe Lacob just got a little too arrogant for his own good. And he thought that building a championship team is like is like really easy, but in reality they just had probably the greatest point guard of all time, debatably, at the very least, and that's what made it all happen. It wasn't because of Joe Lacob. I'm sorry. It all was because of Wardell, Steph, and Curry. And now you just wasted us years, and now they're going to suck for a long time after. And everyone should be ashamed of failing him. So, yeah, there it is.
Should he leave?
I mean, I don't think he will. I think he likes Atherton a little too much, but
I don't think he should leave. I think he values staying at one franchise for a long time. Obviously, he could have caused more of a scene. He's never caused a scene. He's never been a problem. I think for him, part of it is legacy of staying with one team, you know. And I think he realizes he's not fucking LeBron James and he doesn't need to ring chase.
I think he's too comfortable with the Warriors. I mean, he basically like is a god in the Bay Area. Like everyone knows, like he's essentially like royalty here, and it makes too much sense. Like all of his endeavors he's doing on the court, off the court. Like he's established a lot of roots in San Francisco as far as like his business ventures, media ventures. I mean, I think he's already looking to like branch off beyond basketball a lot, and he's making a lot of moves in the community. And I really think that he wants to like treat the Bay as his permanent home. So I'm gonna go no.
I don't think he should leave. Well, I love Steph. He's my favorite player of all time in every sport. And I love the Warriors very, very much. And I have seen the Steph stands out there who are only fans of Curry and not really the Warriors. And they've been screaming at him to leave ever since, even before 22, in 21. And, you know, right after in 23 and 24. And I've always said, no, you know, that's ridiculously stupid and short-sighted. They have something in place and he's won 4 rings here. He's established and there's no real need for him to leave, right? But again, I hearken it back to like, if you're an employee at a company and you feel like, you know, the team around you and the company has not given you the resources in order for you to succeed at your job and feel like you are, you know, in a good position and you're just constantly suffering every time you have to put your work out there, I wouldn't want to stay. No matter how much I get paid or how much I like the area, how long I've been there. So I could see it now. Like, at a certain point, you see it.
No, I can see it. No, I definitely feel like this is the most realistic it's ever been.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to move on here. We've got like a billion other moves to cover, and we've ranted about the Warriors probably for like 20 minutes now. So let's react to some of these other big moves that we couldn't cover earlier because of LeBron. Let's go with the biggest move other than LeBron. It's Giannis. He finally got traded. One of the other missed Warrior swings. He got traded to the Heat, which I think was very surprising because the Heat basically never actually get anybody. But they finally did it. They traded Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, some guy that I can't pronounce right now, 3 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second-round pick for Giannis and Bobby Portis.
Great for the Heat. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense on paper, putting the lineup they have together, but at the end of the day, it's better to have Giannis and figure it out than not have Giannis and figure it out, because that team wasn't that good. Clearly some tensions between Hero and Bam, so yeah. I don't think that was going to work out long term, I guess, at that pace. But, I mean, dude, you get Giannis, it's just figure it out after, right?
Yeah, just pack the paint against Giannis and Bam.
What do you mean? Bam's the greatest scorer of all time.
Oh, right. His greatest 83-point game of all time.
Current living scorer right now, I guess. But, oh my God. They don't have any shooters. I don't really get that. Did they even get anybody? Did they get any shooters in free agency? Like, that front court is great. Giannis, Bam, Andrew Wiggins. Obviously, we've talked about his ability to be a good role player in a championship team. I don't know who their guards are.
There's not shooting, but Davion Mitchell can't shoot. And I guess Tim Hardaway is there or something. I think he's there. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think it makes a difference if he's there or not. But they need some guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's a problem, but you solve like 7 other problems. Now the one shooting problem is definitely like obviously top of mind, and you can answer that. You can wait till the deadline. Maybe some guy develops, something gets happened, someone gets waived, something gets happened. Like things happen in the NBA. So I think there'll be shooters available, but at least you have Giannis and Bam. Like, dude, that's so insane. That's such a fire team.
Is it?
No, it is. It's really good. I think it's really good.
I'm not that moved by it. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I just don't feel that intimidated if I'm like the Sixers.
No, it's not
or the
intimidating.
Knicks.
Yeah, it's not intimidating.
It's intriguing.
You're just like, oh, as long as we pack the paint and we can stop both of them. Yeah, you pack the paint. And then, Giannis still averages 32 a game. So, like, what are we talking about? It's not like, oh, no one's ever thought about packing the paint against Giannis before. Like, this is Giannis, guys. Like, when he plays, he's literally averaging like 32, 11, and like 2 blocks almost. Like, this dude's insane.
I think he's dominant.
He's still a top
insane.
5 player, probably closer to number 1 than 5. He is like as good as Jokic, SGA, and Wemby, any of these guys. Like, he is as good, if not better, on his best day. So, like, dude,
that's true.
That's still Giannis. Like, it's bad. He's had some injury stuff. Sure. I mean, we can't account for what's going to happen going forward, but a healthy, motivated Giannis, like, then you put a guy like Bam around him who's versatile, obviously can't shoot, but he can versatile and do many of other things. I think it's a great start. And then you still have Spoelstra there. So, like I said, you have, like, if there's 10 things you need on a roster, you have, like, 8 or 9 of them. You really just need shooters and maybe a point guard or just someone to handle the ball a bit. You probably could find one person to do both. That's exactly what you're going to need. And, yeah, you could find that. Like, there's other guys available that are going to come available, trade deadline, buyouts, all that stuff. So, I think it's, like I said, it's a good problem to have. I'd rather have Giannis and Bam figure out shooting than have Hero and Bam and figure out the plan.
No, I agree with that. I don't think the Heat were going to go anywhere with whatever they had. And having Giannis and Bam is better than having whatever they had. I don't think. No, I just don't think they do anything. But
yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Like, I want to be clear that, like, the Heat, at the way they were constructed, were going nowhere. Giannis gives them at least
they're like
a
top
baseline.
3 team now, I think. I think they might be 3, but they're behind
in the league.
They're behind the Knicks. They're behind the Knicks and the 76ers. But I'll take them over the Celtics in a heartbeat. I'd take them over the Pacers. I mean, I have to see how Halliburton. I love Halliburton, so I'd have to see what he's like. I'd take him over the Pistons. I'd take him over the Cavs. I mean, maybe that's just me, but
Pistons and Cavs, Pacers and Celtics. I'm looking at the overall roster makeup. Like, I think it's a good situation for Giannis. Like, Giannis
teams aren't the best either, though.
No, they aren't. But I legitimately don't know what the rest of the Heat roster really looks like.
I think the Heat are just going to rely on some random cheerleader getting called up and they just, like, drop 40% on threes. I don't know how they manage to do it every single year, but they will.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'd be so much more worried if this was like the Warriors and they had to develop a player. Like, this is Spoelstra. Like, this guy is a genius. Like, he knows how to push the right buttons out of the right guys to get the best out of it. It's just obviously they've been lacking a superstar, and now they have that. He's always been good about finding role players and getting the best out of his players. I mean,
I think Spo's like the best coach in basketball. So
I'd probably agree.
So I think he'll find a way to make it work long term, but it's
Yeah,
going to take
for
some
sure.
time to like build out the entire ancillary roster surrounding Giannis and Bam. But I do agree that's a really good start, and they're competitive again now. Like they're competitive. Do I have money on them winning the finals or like winning the Eastern Conference Finals? Probably not. But do they have a shot at making it a deep postseason run? Yeah, they do.
They
Really
didn't
depends
before.
on
So
getting
I think,
hot.
in itself, that's all you can really ask for is a shot, right? You didn't have a
Mhm.
shot before. So I guess on the Bucks side of things, actually no one cares. Let's move on.
Doc Rivers is still there. I don't know what's
He
going on.
is? He didn't get fired?
No,
I don't think
Taylor
so.
Jenkins is the new coach of the Bucks, and the Bucks
What?
are going
I
for a rebuild. They have,
Oh
don't-
yeah. You know what? I totally missed out on that part.
I think the Bucks are doing some right things, but I'm glad they're going for a rebuild now. Like,
But they can't rebuild technically. Like but I know no one cares. Like I promise you, no one's listening. Like I wonder what the Bucks side of this is. They don't have their picks. They traded all of them for Dame, so they can't technically tank the same way the Spurs did or the Thunder did. They don't have their first round picks. They traded all of them for Dame, so they're fucked. Like they
Oh
can't
my
they
God.
can't do your theoretical tanking. They'll probably eventually have to trade Hero to get some of their picks back in some type of 2-team or 3-team trade, right? Like trade him to Portland to get picks back, or trade him to somewhere else and try to get Portland to give you the picks, something of that nature. Because if you're gonna tank, which you're gonna have to, their roster's awful. They gotta get their picks back.
Spoelstra from Doc is a huge upgrade for Giannis, and I think he should be counting his blessings every day that he was able
Yeah,
to
that-
upgrade from that.
That's
Doc
like
Rivers is like the
getting
most
your
confusing hire I've ever seen.
bro, literally, and it's like going from a map, like a physical map, to like Apple Maps. You know what I mean? Like it just makes life so much easier for him. It's gonna be all in front of him. Where Doc Rivers, you gotta really read the map and understand where you are and how to do things, because he's a fucking idiot.
it's going from like a second-hand like Camry to like a McLaren.
Mm-hmm. LaMelo to the Timberwolves. Let's go back west for a second there. This is a little interesting. I honestly didn't know that Charlotte was interested in trading LaMelo after their best season yet. But okay, I guess we're gonna blow it up again. I don't really know what Charlotte's game plan is at this point. It's just like we're just gonna stay perpetually
I
bad.
can tell you. I can tell you. I think they realize, and I think this is my analysis on the trade too. Like, I'm not as moved as this trade as other people are. Like, I don't even feel as strongly as you, like nearly as strongly as you, about what is Charlotte doing or how good Timberwolves are now. I think LaMelo is not a winning basketball player. And if he
No,
decides
I
tomorrow he's
mean-
going to wake up and just play a whole different brand of basketball, then that's not fair to the Hornets, because at no point in Charlotte did he ever play like he wanted to win games. Like he shot 40-something% at the highest from field goal. Not three, from field goal. Like he shoots in the low 30s to high 20s in the 3-point line and takes a billion shots and has a high turnover rate. Like, you have Colin Knippel, you have Brendan Miller. See what they can do if there's not an idiot playing point guard, like a guy that can actually maybe help them. I think help develop. And they realize, how many times are you going to get this type of trade package from LaMelo? Like, if he has another bad year, he's also always injured. There's a lot of just kind of question marks, in my opinion, with LaMelo, where now you get Naz Reid, veteran, not even veteran, but just like knows his role, has, years in the playoffs and deep playoff runs. And now you could put him in a role that he's never been able to play in. He could be really good. And now he fits a lot better aside Con and Brendan Miller. And then on the Timberwolves side of things, they finally got the point guard they've been looking for. It's an upgrade from Mike Conley, technically, right? Mike Conley's old as shit.
Not technically. Yes, it is an upgrade from very old Mike Conley.
But it's just like overall, I just don't know. Like, and this is, call it a bold take or a hot take. I just don't know how much the needle moves. Like, if the Timberwolves are going to be a championship team, it's going to come down to Anthony Edwards being a superstar and carrying them there. Like, and Jaden McDaniels will probably end up still being the second best player on that team. Like, LaMelo is, like I said, if he decides to change the way he plays basketball, then we can have this conversation. But like, given the 6-7 years he's been in the NBA now, like, he's not a winning basketball player. And his awful contract, he's paid a max. You just traded a bunch of picks to get him.
You're
Like,
making me defend LaMelo Ball, and I really don't want to do that because I don't like him either. But I think he's a good enough player that he is an upgrade. I think they needed a point guard and a distributor, so the pressure isn't always on Anthony Edwards all the time to make every play.
that makes sense,
right?
though. I agree
He just
with you.
has to
But
be a
LaMelo's
facilitator, right? At this
But
point.
LaMelo's that's not his game. He's
I
not
know, I
just
understand.
he's gonna come down first game, one-legged side, like step off three or some made-up move I've never seen. It's probably travel, and then you're gonna be like, okay, well, if he hits it, it's great, and I'm sure they're all gonna go crazy and have a blast celebrating it. But it's just like overall, I don't know. I don't see it. Like
honestly,
I think if you're looking for a point guard, I would have gone and gotten Ja or something. I don't know. At least I've seen him make a playoff run.
Over LaMelo was crazy though.
Yes, he's way better. He's way more talented and shown us more. He just can't stay healthy.
Ja
just hasn't been healthy.
26 over LaMelo is crazy. I mean, look,
No,
both of them have had their injury concerns, but like Ja shooting like sub 30% or 40% from the
but
field.
LaMelo does
like,
that almost all the time, and no one cares.
I mean, LaMelo is like, okay, like he is really inefficient. I agree with that, but he still like converts a decent amount of catch and shoot threes, and he isn't like a complete negative from a shooting threat compared to Ja Morant. And LaMelo's size is still in core vision, especially, and ability to play transition basketball is a big advantage over Ja Morant at this stage in their careers. But I'll say this:
and athleticism. You have to say athleticism is going to decline eventually with Ja, right? As he gets older.
I would argue it already kind of has. But that aside, I actually really like this trade for Charlotte. I really like the thesis behind it. I don't think that LaMelo fits the timeline with which they're going, and he doesn't make as much sense with this core going forward. And they have two really talented forwards in Miller and Knipple, and they have now a glut. They have so many picks that they have available, and they're just gonna basically go all in on like the Thunder like approach of building a roster. And I think their front office is made of Thunder guys, which kind of explains a lot of what they're doing in terms of stockpiling assets. And I think that's kind of the best way to build a team in this era of the second apron, like in this collective bargaining agreement. So I see what they're doing. I think it's a really shrewd move. I don't think LaMelo is a max level player, but I get why Minnesota kind of had to do this. They just don't really have a point guard and a secondary like creator with Anthony Edwards, and they're just desperate for some offensive talent around him.
But here's why I disagree, because you could say that you get all these first round picks, but they're not first round picks. They're first round swaps, 3 first round swaps. And they're in years where likely LaMelo and Anthony Edwards are going to be in their prime. Are you, Charlotte, the tanking team right now, probably, are you really going to swap those picks? You honestly probably won't, because you're probably going to have the worst record. You got one pick in 7 years that's unprotected. Hooray. Good for you. You didn't really get anything out of this trade except for that one pick, because I honestly don't think those, swaps will convey at all. You could do much better. I'm not saying LaMelo's some amazing player that warrants, a bunch of draft picks, but look, again, we said Mikal Bridges went for 5, and like OG, I don't know how many he went for, but like there's all these, picks that can be swapped around. I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more for LaMelo than that.
I think that LaMelo's value is a little bit conflicted around the league, and yeah, I do agree with you, Matt. Like, I don't think that the T-Wolves are going to be like the hider of the swaps, right? To the point where like the swaps do make sense to elect to execute them. But I do think that this is the most value that they can get, and they're also moving off of the contract of having to like be under the obligation of paying LaMelo. And I do agree with that. Like, I think he's too injury prone and too risky to just be a franchise guy. I think he's a good second option. He's a great second option, but the injury concerns, like, it's a little bit of a miracle that he was able to play more than like 60 games last year. I'll put it that much. So you might as well like cut him loose while his value is at an all-time high it's ever going to be.
Okay. All right. Ja Morant to Portland. Let's just quickly cover that. I think it's just
Here
you go.
It's a what you call it, a rescue project, or like, a repair project, whatever you want to call it. Like, next to nothing value. Bring him in. Dame's probably still may not be ready right away, or if he is, try to run him with him. Just see if you can at all increase his value. Hopefully, he's still somewhat decent, and then maybe flip him later down the road. I think that's best case scenario.
You know, it reminds me of that one situation, like that one trope of I don't know, a teacher goes into the hood or something, or goes to a former star or someone that could have had it all, and their job is to just kind of be the savior or some sort. I feel like Ja Morant
put his career back on the right path. It's like, dude, come under my wing. I'm Damian Lillard. I'll set you back on the right path. Put the guns down, Ja.
Yeah. Damian Lillard can kind of be the white savior in this case, but someone needs to put him on track, bro. Ja is man, what a fall from grace. I thought that Zion was gonna be the only huge fall from grace, but both him and Ja they
the whole draft class sucks now.
It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, RJ Barrett never became anything. Cam Reddish, the whole Duke trio was all ass. Ja was the flashy guy. He was ass. It was a really bad draft class.
I mean, he
Zion
was really
still
flashy.
never played a playoff game.
He was flashy with the gun. He was flashy with the blicky.
He bullied a little kid. Hell yeah.
I mean, also Portland has 10,000 guards now, low key, and they really don't.
Their team is insane. Their team is so random. Looking at the roster of players they have, it's just you still have this guy.
The cheapest front office in sports, dude. I think they're.
That's a whole different.
Yeah,
that shit's so out of pocket, bro. They gave their new coach a 1-year contract, bro. A 1-year guaranteed contract. Yes, it's a 1 year guaranteed, basically guaranteed, and that's it. So they basically, there's a great chance if he's really good coach, they might just let him go, so they can't afford him.
Yeah, they're playing
hardball
with
they're doing there.
They're doing mass layoffs across the whole front office too. They got new ownership, and they've been really aggressive on cutting stuff.
Yeah, they cut cost on travel for their coaching staff and stuff. They giving them shit rooms to stay in. Obviously it's still a privilege to be able to do what they do for millions of dollars, but just a standard is in the NBA. I feel like a standard in the NBA, and you can't be the only team treating your players like shit. I don't know. We could go into this a lot more, but
should have done more due diligence on this owner, Adam Silver.
Yeah, he wasn't part of Clutch, so he doesn't care.
Speaking of due diligence, Kawhi may or may not go back to Toronto here.
The RICO charges are crazy.
Oh, I honestly can't believe they tried to even trade him and they accepted. And we thought that it was just going to happen because Adam Silver just was not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden,
remember All-Star break, was it, when all this came out, right? I think, or something like that. And then they had that little and then they had the whole little press conference. So he's like, my first matter is to figure this out so we can progress and we can, move forward from this and, leave this in the past. All this stuff about how he obviously wants to figure out what's going on with this stuff. And it's months worth of later than what we imagined. And there's still no decision in the timeline or in the horizon. And there's already a trade that's happened.
They could have disciplined him at the start of the season. They didn't. They wanted to wait until after the All-Star break when it was hosted in LA. Didn't do anything after that either. It's not like the Clippers made the playoffs, so there's no consequence of that suspension. They have a year now. You got to figure something out here, Adam. I don't really know.
You got to put him on some type of exempt list, or do hey, you're off for the year while we figure this out. You can't let Toronto go on this whole offseason with a half-done trade and a half-baked roster, and then they've done nothing wrong, and now they're getting punished part of this because they can't move forward in their offseason.
Okay, but if you trade for a guy like that, you kind of know it's coming.
But if it has nothing's happened, then they'll let the guy go. If nothing's gonna happen, then let the guy go. If you're too scared to make a ruling, then they're trying to just brush past it. Let them brush past it and move forward. If you're gonna make something happen, let something happen. So it's what if you're BI or Grady Dick that gets traded? Like now this trade doesn't go through. You're going back to Toronto. You're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I feel for it.
Fair enough. Maybe we'll comment on that when the ruling gets resolved in a couple years.
Ever. Yeah. We'll see you episode 500.
All right. Last thing we want to cover here, the Lakers. I mean, we got to talk about them because they've had an interesting offseason, to say the least, other than the fact that LeBron left. They maxed out Austin Reeves. They traded for Walker Kessler, and they gave up basically the equivalent of 4 first-round picks for him. And then they also signed him to $130 million. Then they gave $112 million combined to Quentin Grimes, and I want to say Samu Mamu Shekaveli.
I think they just call him Mamu, and I'm like, bro, I've never watched this dude play in my fucking life. How did he get $52 million? I understand he played in Toronto, and I'm not really watching too many Raptor games, but like, I feel like I should have heard of him. Like, I don't know. I heard of Quentin Grimes.
$242 million combined for Kessler, Grimes, Mamu. You're the Lakers. You don't have any first-round picks left. You don't have any, money left. Your starting roster is probably, Luka, Reeves, Mamu, Kessler, and the other white guy. So, like, I don't really understand what's going on. Rob Pelinka, he fleeced with the Luka Doncic trade, but everything else in his tenure, basically, as the Lakers GM, other than the trades that were basically given to him, like AD. I was going to
say, they're all given to him. Like, AD forced himself to the Lakers. Nico Anderson handed him Luka Doncic. Like, he literally just had to accept the trade. And I think, like you said, anytime an actual decision has to be made, like using a bit of brain power, he got fleeced by the Jazz, bro. The Jazz were not, bro, what? The Jazz weren't giving Walker Kessler no $130 million. Like, even if he's a restricted free agent next year or whatever, like, you offer him 3/4 of his deal, you'll probably get him. Like, they're not matching that. Like, I just don't see. They have Jaren Jackson. They have all their big men. Like, why would you pay $2 for the $1 trade? Like, oh my god, dude.
Not a dumb.
And then just randomly signing guys like that. I don't know if any of these guys really fit next to Luka. You gave Austin Reeves, this is the ultimate test of like how much can Luka Doncic do in terms of carrying the Lakers. And I don't think we're not even sure if he even likes to be in LA still. Like, he still seems miserable. So
That Austin Reeves contract is atrocious,
insane,
and I might get criticism for it, but you can't pay that much. Austin Reeves second option hoops, and he's getting max money for that.
Wait, what's this contract?
People are going to criticize him.
4 years,
I think it's a max deal.
Oh my god!
Yeah, fucking insane. It's like basically the highest. Guaranteed. It's the highest max you can get without being like an All NBA or an MVP.
No one bid on him either, right? They did it before anyone could bid on him. Again, you're bidding against yourself.
This is horrible, man.
No one cancer pilled no one did a cancer contract, like they do that stuff, like they do a poison pill contract and make you sign them. Like what happened to Quentin Post, right? So no one did that with Austin Reeves. They're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do it ourselves, right?
Let's just get our guy taken care of.
What are the Lakers doing? Seriously, that's
come on, Luka.
I have no words. That's one of the worst contracts I've ever. He's a good player, but
I think he's really good. Yeah, but
he's all-star level offensively. But is he 180? Right, like 180 million. Man, NBA money is ridiculous. But in this second Abram era, getting 100, that doesn't make sense. That shouldn't have happened.
Again, you're competing with the OKCs and the San Antonio Spurs with their Harper, Wemby, Castle, and the Shea and J-Dub, and you get the Philly roster, you get the Knicks roster, and you're going up against the world with your big three of Luka, Austin Reeves, Walker Kessler. Like, do you feel confident that you're gonna win?
You can't be confident. Yeah. Now you locked yourself into it. Actually, the only way you can get out of it is letting go of Luka.
Which is funny. Come join the Warriors, Luka.
Where's the defense at?
We're getting Jokic first.
Jokic, Luka.
I guess one thing that's good. One thing that's good about this is that with LeBron gone, hopefully hear about the Lakers less because I'm sick of
No,
hearing
they still
about
got
the
Luka.
Lakers.
They got the
But it's
exciting
gonna be
whites
like
lineup right now.
more like spicy mayo, dude.
Oh man.
I mean, they're going as far as Luka can take them. I mean, is it basically like a more ass version of the Mavs roster that he took to the finals? And that roster wasn't very impressive. But they had Kyrie, and he was hooping. So if Austin Reeves can hoop at that level, I guess there's a chance. I don't see Dorian Finney-Smiths and Gaffers.
We need some defense out there.
Lively's. They got guys playing defense, and I don't know what they're doing. This is the most confusing team in the league. Like, you know, right next to the Warriors. Funny enough, like
Yeah.
I don't know what this roster is.
Do you really think people are gonna like ring chase and like take a minimum to play with the Lakers? Like,
Why?
it really
Why would they
depends on
do
how
that? They're
good
not gonna
Prime
ring
Luka
chase with
is.
Lakers. What?
Who would do that?
I don't know, but it really depends on how good Prime Luka ends up being, right?
But he's not the type of guy that people want to go play with. He doesn't have his own agency.
Oh, right, that's true. He's not enough of a power player. He's not clutch enough for that, I guess.
Clutch with the K though.
Clutch with a K.
All right. Well, that's about it for our free agency reactions. Got a whole hour and 10 of great reactions right here.
Yeah.
So
listen to this until the NBA season starts, because this might be the last one we do before the NBA season.
Let's
Probably.
boycott Clutch Sports. Who's with me?
Oh, I'm already there. But that'll do it for this episode of the show. Again, make sure to follow Sports Counsel on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. Don't forget to follow our social media, sports_counsel. That's COUNSEL. On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever your social medias are. We are everywhere. We're also on Threads. Great place to be. Join our Discord. Enjoy the conversations there. But that is going to do it for today's show. Anything else before the end of the NBA kind of coverage? We probably won't be back until October.
I'm so excited that you said that. Honestly, you messaged us about a future episode coming here soon. Rhymes with cock, draft, and I can't wait for that episode. I promise you, I can't wait till football starts. See, I hate the NBA.
You can find a different rhyme than that. Okay. All right.
I don't want to
Clock.
confuse the listener.
Training camps is starting. All right. We'll see you soon.
See ya.